everyone. I hope traders and investors alike were green today. What a very mixed emotion market that we have right now. We have blowout earnings coming in the midst of a recession, coming into possible recession, and have huge tech, biggest companies in the world having blowout earnings. And then we have a bank failing again, but we can't say this hasn't been expected. We knew there was a lot of issues going on in that bank. I think everybody had hoped they had blown over, but getting a look into those earnings were just terrible, very bad. Like their deposits were down. Depositors were down 40%. Just huge, huge miss there. They're trying to push it off on. So the Fed is trying to push it off on other banks to step in. I mean, you got to think those earnings were that bad after those banks have already given them 35 billion, and plus what the Fed had already done as well, and they were still that bad. So the Fed's looking at the banks, and the banks are looking, like, what are we supposed to do with this? It's how are we supposed to recover this and be able to make money with it? Very difficult. We're just going to have to see the outcome. I figured the Fed would have already stepped in on that bank. It's probably what we need if the Fed would step in on that bank. Maybe this market could actually get itself together and just find a direction at this point. We knew a change was coming. We talked about that in last Sunday's video. So we got a lot of good plays this week that we had called out. Things are working. It's just the markets are very choppy. There is plenty of trades out there and plenty of opportunities, but it takes discipline in a market like this. Discipline's always a must. It's really a must in a market like this. Let's get looking at the charts, and we'll talk about different earnings as we go through the charts. So this is the oscillators for the Nasdaq, and you can see we moved a little bit lower down here to 166. So we're seeing that bearish sentiment come in. That's pretty much what that's telling us. 141 for the New York Stock Exchange. Once again, seeing more bearish sentiment coming in than we seen yesterday, and the charts are looking like it. You can see SPX weekly here moving lower. Watch that weekly 9. This could offer some support, and we could see that tomorrow if we do continue lower. Breath's moving lower. So we're seeing here in the sentiment charts, we're seeing a lot of bearishness coming into the market. Now, we did see bonds try to push yesterday, and it did pull the yields back, which is pulling rates back, letting us know interest rates have come in a little bit again where they were trying to push. It's actually a good sign. The bonds, the flight to bonds right now, it's like a flight to safety. The dollar's really holding in here, right in between this 9 and 20, and it's back out of it. I thought there may be a chance if this market is to pull back and snatch back, we're holding the support level. This is actually a longer term head and shoulders pattern here. If you look on a weekly, it's not perfect, but it's there. It's clear. I actually took the chart off this list, but we have showed it in several videos now. So you can see we're back down here to support. If we lose the support, obviously we're looking for a move lower. But if we can take this 20 out, if this market snatches, the dollar may try to push, and that may leave UPP or UUP. I think it's UPP. It's a ETF that tracks the dollar, and that is tradable. You can buy that. That is tradable. I wouldn't trade options on it or anything like that. I don't even know if it has options. I've never traded it, but that is an option, something to look into, where if the dollar does push here, that you could make some money with it. And if they have if they have that one, I'm sure they have a bearish ETF as well. You can see the VIX. The VIX has took out the moving averages here. Big push yesterday. Got a wide range spinning top. Very long legged spinning top here. It's not even a long leg. It's just a wide range spinning top. Some crazy action today on the VIX, that's for sure. Crude pulling in. You could see the setup here. I almost posted a chart. I posted several charts this morning in the Discord, so I didn't post this one as well. But I was already bearish on the energy, and I'm going to show you that chart in a minute, which we got some plays there too. Bearish on XLF. You got head and shoulders on XLF. You're expecting a move lower. This pattern was very close to what we have on XLF with the gap up and all, and just had a very strong feeling it was going to pull back. But that 50 was trying to hold as support. I will look at that XLE, not XLF, but XLE, the energy sector, here in a minute. You can see Apple. Apple broke below the 9 and 20 day today. We did have a high close candle, so we closed above the opening, which is a good sign, but still rejected. It's not as good of a sign as me seeing those wicks coming down. More and more tech names coming out reporting earnings. This is a really hard market to call right now. We're going to look at the SPY. We're going to talk about this possible double top, and we've already talked a little bit about where we could go. We'll do that again. Uh, Depends. This is a really hard market to call, and I hope everybody understands because we don't know what's happening with FRC right now. We're having blowout earnings. We're coming into a recession. The market is really mixed up, and we're seeing some changes here. You know, Sentiment and participation. I know, like in the beginning of these videos, they may be kind of boring because how can I make money with that? Those are actually telling us what's going on in the market, what's going on under the hood. Very important charts. You can see here on Apple, huge push in the middle of the day and then slam right back down. And you got a real clear signal there. It's just a little bearish Arami, very clear signal for a move down. Or a bearish inside bar. You can look at it like that. Also getting ready to be bearish on gold. Just you would think they would be coming after gold, selling the markets, flight to safety type thing, but not today. Below this support, I would draw, if you were to draw this out as a flag now, we've already broken below that flag. So we have the support level. I like it better. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I like it better. I like it better down here below these wicks, but at least below that candle body. Let it break below that support. This is a real level of support here, and I would pay attention to this before you short gold. Watch the top of this candle here as well. As you're coming down, you can probably find some support right there. But you definitely, this is your breakout from your ascending triangle right here, and that's the resistance level basically. And you can see coming right down, it's been able to push back above it, but below that candle body, we're looking for a move lower. This is the advanced decline lines. You can see they have rolled over as well. Now, I figured AI would bounce back up for a retouch today because Microsoft, during their call, they mentioned AI in every single sentence for like the first half an hour. So I really figured AI may pop off of this in some of the small ones, but we didn't get it. We did get this nice move down, but right now we're holding this 200 as support. The lower we go, the bigger vacuum gap we're getting into. So there's less support down here. Just what that's telling us. These heavy volume profile bars just lets us know that there was a lot of volume traded in this area. You don't see that down here, and that's obviously because there's just not as much support. When things push up like that, there's not a lot of action. This is when you get support in areas when you get these big chop areas and you keep coming back, retesting this level and retesting that level. That creates a lot of really good trading levels. When you get these big gap ups, it's almost like there's a hole there. Yes, there was volume traded in that area, but it moves so quickly, it doesn't create a lot of support. Always try to look for flags on them big pushes up. A lot of times you just don't have a flag to look for support on. So you can see AMC here right in between the 9 and the 50. I'm just not interested in that till it gets above or below the moving averages. I don't like being trapped up in my daily moving averages. AMC, very choppy day to day, tight range there. AMD, you can see a downtrend tried to push today as well. Once again, you get a little bearish Arami, nice move down, breaking below your 200. You can start looking for a move down. Money to be made there. Amazon. So Amazon at one point looked like it wanted to push today, end up closing below the open, barely closing with a long-legged doji there. ARK-K ripping lower, broke out of this little, I don't even want to call it an ascending triangle, but you could see we broke this trend line to the downside, come back, kind of tried to retest and just dumped. So we talked today, when you see your candles growing like this, it's telling you there's momentum in those candles. There's a lot of strength in those candles. A really good pullback today. We were able to call it a level or where we were heading just due to the size of the candles we were seeing. We knew that we were going to continue lower. Abby, nice breakout up here above. So you can see we broke out above this double top, but we ended up closing kind of, it's not quite a gravestone. A gravestone would be flat. So we got too much wick to be a gravestone. But you can see, they did close it above. So it is a close high candle, but the bearish were able to pull that candle all the way back down. So we're not surprised when we see a gap down like this, when we see a candle like that up into an uptrend. That's been ripping. AMD rolled over. Not that
Not that it's that extended, but it's just made a nice move up. So not surprised to see it move down when we see gravestones and spinning tops and hangmans in the top of a chart. We're going to look at a candle on the SPY, and seeing this candle is when my whole attitude changed towards the SPY, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be able to put in this new high, because we had just recently said if we didn't make this new high soon, we're not going to make it, and then this candle popped up. You can see AMD lost the 200, or I'm sorry, it lost the 9 on the weekly chart. Look for your weekly 200 to come back into down here around the 80.48, 80.50 area for possible support, just by using your moving averages. Firm moving lower here as well, right into the Bollinger Band to probably get a bounce off of that. A lot of times when we come into that Bollinger Band, you can get a bounce off a daily Bollinger Band. Not saying it's going to go back to whole new highs or even back to the meme or anything, but a lot of times you can get a bounce when you come down on the band, because it can act as a level of support. If you get on the outside of it, it can actually act as a level of resistance. Well, at least I have been known to take trades off Bollinger Bands, inside or outside. You can see a firm moving lower. Ali, I talked about this in the Discord this morning. So we had this kind of 1, 2, 3 reversal here. It wasn't pretty, but it did, pivot point 1, pivot point 2, pivot point 3, breaking pivot point 2, pushed up, then it gave us around the top. We've come right back to the pivot point 2 area. Below that, we're looking for a move down. Did see, I think PACW had a decent earnings, or PACW had a decent earnings, which is another regional bank. Amazon up on the Meta earnings. Amazon coming up. What are we going to get? We'll see. So you can see the weekly chart here, and we are under this 50. Apple, we have taken this downtrend out, and you can see we cleared it right here, but we've not been able to push any higher. This is the weekly time frame, and we're pulling in lower. Boeing down candle today. They actually reported earnings. So I got an intraday chart here. That's Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a big push. We're going to look at Boeing's intraday, and we'll talk about the earnings there. Bitcoin had a big push today, did a big pullback. That was a wild ride, but provided some opportunities for the crypto charts. Here's Boeing. You can see Boeing popped up in pre-market, ended up giving it back. It was pretty rough. Thought we were going to push that one time on the call, when they were on the call, and it did end up snatching back and just chopped around, then finally broke down and move lower. But you can see it took out your 15-minute moving averages and then moved lower. Citi pulling back here as well. We had banks on the radar yesterday. So you can see CVX here. We're going to look at XLE. This is not perfect. This is not quite as nice as XLE, but you can see the little, you got a bull flag pushing up, a reversal gives you a rounded top, and then kind of a bear flagish there. So shoulder, head, shoulder, which that's all Head and Shoulders is. It's a high with a higher high, making the shoulder and the head, and then you come down and you put in a lower high. That's the reversal change. It's all basic price action, very basic price action. All the patterns really are. It takes time to learn to spot the patterns and have learn the pattern recognition, which we have charts in the Facebook group for that. You can see we're breaking down below support there. CVX breaking lower on the daily. You can see it tried to push up right into, once again, your 15-minute 50s. Why we always say if you're trading a stock, if you can't have the 15-minute time frames or have all these time frames up, know where that 15-minute 50 and your 15-minute 200 is always. Doesn't mean you got to watch it. Just know where it's at. Charge point, we got this breakout and the retest of this inverted cup and handle. Not perfect. It shouldn't be slanted upward, but you can see, you can call it a 1, 2, 3 reversal if you want. Pivot point 1, pivot point 2, pivot point 3, crossing pivot point 2. You take your entry, however you want to look at it. That was go time. Come back for the retest. It's been struggling. It's been heading lower. The trade would have worked, but it's definitely been struggling. It would have been a hard one to sit into, depending on your options. So Coke, we had this big move up. Coke had an earnings beat, better than expected earnings, nice move up, and they sold it. So we could pull back. We should have never broke that level, but maybe we were on a pullback, put a handle, and push up. It's possible. Coin, very big bearish engulfing candle today. That's ugly. Chart's getting really ugly. XLP back into the daily 9. So kind of rough here. I like to have seen some action trying to push back up off of that, but just not there. We definitely need to see where tomorrow's candle opens. So maybe if we could open up on the 9, maybe we can push. Delta Airlines, we talked about this trend line on Sunday. Monday, we closed below the trend line, but still had this hammer candle. It's not a true hammer candle because it's coming down into a downtrend, but we still had this candle holding this 9 and 200 there. Broke below that, nice move down. So that's one we were watching this week. Got to move on. DraftKings lost this 9 here. A little surprised. DraftKings been really strong. I thought it would bounce off that 9. Lily's lost a 9 there as well. So this is the energy chart, and I know it's not perfect. It looks more like a crown than an inverted head and shoulders. So it looks like a king's crown here, kind of, or you could possibly get the Batman out of it because it's more pointed. If you look at Batman's head, that's what the Batman pattern is. If you can imagine, I don't have Batman's head there. But either way, it looks like a crown, inverted head and shoulders. Either way, it's bearish, right? Right, it's bearish, moving down, call it the 50. So we posted this chart in Discord this morning. This, bearish on XLE, you're bearish on all the energy stocks. Google breaking down here. Goldman Sachs breaking down here. This chart looked really good. FRC ruined that Monday night. IWM also trending lower. Regional banks have a lot of impact on IWM. Intel coming into earnings tomorrow after close, and we are down here. Just not much action. We did manage. Well, actually, we did. We closed below the 50-day. It looked like they were trying to get it back above the 50, but just an ugly chart there. That was a really nice move, really nice breakout there, but it's been falling apart. Qs breaking down. The Qs, this is a major level of support here. It goes back. You go back and search this, and you can see plenty of touch points on that level. This level as well. That's why they look like barbed wire like that. I want to make sure they stay there and keep reminding myself not to take those off this chart. So I got to take this level out here because I know it's acted as support a lot of times, and I want to see it below that. Then we got the 50 a lot. There's tech. It's hard to be so bearish on tech right now when you're having these blowout earnings, but we have this FRC thing. So I don't know how much that's going to impact the Qs, though. To be honest, there's more tech heavy there. It's not all what you would. There's names in the NASDAQ that you would think be like, wow, is that really tech? But still, it's a lot different than the SPY and the IWM when they are, a lot of these banks are being held. So we'll see. But I'm not as bearish on the Qs as I am the IWM. Now, it did pull in today, but it looked like it traded a little bit better. Draw this flag out here on the weekly. I have to get above that flag on this weekly chart for me to even think about being bullish on the Qs, though. So, but I'm not super bearish. JPM moving lower. Big move. And we said that today. The banks are weak. Look for the ones that gapped up, like JPM, got more room to make money to get back down. So this is Lockheed Martin. We broke out on Monday, but we held above this 50. We said the conservative trader, would wait to get below this 50. Got below this 50 yesterday. Nice big down candle there today. That trade is working. Moderna, we posted this chart this morning. We had come back into a previous level of support. This is where we look. This is where we look for plays right here. You're looking for stocks to come into key levels of support so you can catch a play. When you take the key level of support out, what do you get? Price acceleration. Boom. Nice move down there. Even though I would rather have seen it pop up, I'm always try to be bullish, but I'll trade, to the downside quickly. I don't want anything to go down. Too many people's retirement depending on it. But if the market goes down, stocks go down, I'm going to put puts on them. Moderna, nice move down there. Mara. So Mara pushed today. We had a nice push. Bitcoin pushing, did pull back. Still under some moving averages, right in between your daily moving averages. Need to get out of there before I'm interested into it. Merck breaking down today as well. So we're seeing some bearishness come into our safety healthcare names. Meta. So Meta reported earnings tonight. You can see this big move. Look at this, a $33 move. 20, well, all right, so we'll call it 210. So 22, $22 move. Huge move up. Earnings look good so far. I haven't had time to really dig into them. Microsoft, huge, very, very nice beat here. Huge beat on Microsoft. There's nothing not to like in that report. Huge. They did close below the open today. That happens a lot with Microsoft. You can see this huge move here. Big move. There's nothing not to like there. I don't know what else to say. You can see Microsoft on the weekly, nice push up. So we need to close up here. If we can close up here, maybe we can see more down or more upside. It's hard to be super bullish right now with these bank things going on, but we could see this huge move up. They can settle this bank thing if the Fed will step in, and everybody would be just calm down and let everybody know that the depositors will be okay. The market could really change characters here. Really, if we could just get this bank thing settled peacefully without anybody getting hurt. Microsoft weekly need to close above that flag. NVIDIA, you can see NVIDIA struggling to get back above these moving averages, but NVIDIA is up a little bit here in pre-market, and we could see some sympathy there. So we could see them maybe, basically, if the market does push, you got tech pushing. Texas Instruments had a good earnings. Maybe we could see some love on these guys. Once again, we're struggling here. We got to get up above that flag and close. You got a bearish inside Harami. Bearish Harami there. Netflix. Netflix been struggling as well the last few days. Peloton's come down, so it's trading in this falling wedge. Falling wedges are bullish. I'm not bullish on this stock. If we can break out here, you can clearly see this touch point. If we can break out here, we're looking for a move down. We could get a bounce, but we're at a key level of support. This is where traders look to take trades. Procter & Gamble trying to move lower. Watch that support level there. QQQ on the monthly. We've never been able to take this 20 monthly out. You can see Roblox. That's a huge down candle there today. That's ugly candle. You would expect follow through on that candle. Roku reported earnings tonight. Trading pretty tight right now. I'm not really sure which way that one wants to go. They had guided down, all right. So, the analysis have lessened their expectations by a lot, but they really lessened them here with Roku, and I'm not too sure how the market feels about this, and I really haven't had time to dig into this report yet, but we will definitely talk about this one tomorrow in the Discord. SPX pulling in here on a daily. The diamond is also moving lower, so they're not really coming after the safety names right now either. Still under this downtrend. If extend this trend line, I know I still need to do it. Extend this trend line out. That's what we're under right now. The diamond needs to take those out. The SPY moving lower at a resistance level on the weekly. Watch your weekly 9. You can see here the SPY is coming in. Only keeping this chart on because of this downtrend for one, and then we had this other trend line here as well. They are two areas that we can come down and catch support on. We do have this gap down here. We're expecting 50. We need to touch this 50. We're expecting to come down here and at least come for that gap. That would still give us a higher low. Maybe the market could trend up, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Depending on what's going on with this bank, could come. Unfortunately, it depends on what happens here. SPY on the monthly, still holding this support level. If we're going to move lower, this is a major level of support right now that a lot of people are not paying attention to. It's a major level of support. We've been stuck in here. When we did push up above it, we got slammed right back below it. Major support level, major resistance level right there on the monthly chart. Not seeing anybody talk about that. You can see the SPY here on the daily. This is a different look. So this is a double top. You can see the thumbnail. We drew the line. This candle pokes into it, but does not exceed through it. your candle body and or wick can poke into your box. Draw your box from your candle body to your wick of your highest point. This candle on this side, the wick and or candle body has got to touch the box or push into the box and cannot push out of the box. You can see we're moving lower. This was the candle I was talking about. So super bullish on this market until I seen this candle. We needed to push higher here, and we were unable to do it, and we failed. Even though this candle doesn't have much wick onto it, it's a lot like a shooting star. Just doesn't have the wick, but that's the feeling I got when I seen that candle. And my way of thinking was starting to change right there of this market. You can see the SPY. That chart's not helpful until we get that wick off there. The Qs, I'm sorry, Square, SQ, Square coming down here to a level of key support. We can get to this level down here, draw it on your chart. You can see got touch points back here, got a volume shelf. If we can clear that, we're losing, or we have a lot less volume down here, so we're losing support. We do have a major level here. If we can take that out, looking for a big move down. Starbucks, this has just been a beast of a chart. So we called this double bottom. We called this contraction pattern. We called this flag. Still pushing, bullish engulfing. Big move today. Tesla, we called this H-cell pattern right at the end of the day, but there just wasn't a lot of time left to do anything with it. We did get a small move down on it. I don't know if anybody tried to or got any trades on it at all. I didn't take it. It was just so late at the end of the day. XLK down here to a support level. There was plenty of trades today. We wasn't hurting for nothing at the end of the day. So Tesla, we had this double top. Even did a short on this. Bearish. Tesla had this move down on earnings, moving lower on the weekly. So let's go back to the weekly there. There we go. We had this double top. We talked about that. That has been confirmed, and we're moving lower. I mean, the Discord knows that, but if anybody hadn't been looking at charts, Tesla's definitely moving lower. And if you look at your daily, you can see this volume hold. We have a lot less, basically is what it's telling us. There's a lot less support in here. Getting into this gap here, we got into that today. Definitely can see a move lower. SMH moving lower there as well. You got a bearish Harami. Even Walmart's breaking down. We're seeing a lot of these nice looking bullish charts breaking down big time. XLF, big move lower. ExxonMobil had this nice move up yesterday. Very nice move. We did close below the resistance level, started breaking down. And like I say, earnings, I believe this was an earnings move on that. I think they had earnings Friday or Monday, I think. It's been a lot of them already. Anyway, we're breaking down. Like I said, we're just bearish on energy. Bonds down day to day. Tried to push up yesterday, give it back today, give it a little more back. So we have IWM, got this crazy little flag in here, and it's been struggling to push out of it. If you look right here, you can see these candles, all these candles stop for a reason. So we broke below those. Be careful with these wicks down here. There's probably still some support in this area. Got a nice bearish engulfing candle right now on the weekly, but that candle is not closed yet. Take a look at the daily chart on that one. And you can see we've broken out of this rising wedge to the downside. Got a nice candle yesterday, another nice move down today. The banks are definitely helping that. And the put to call is not updated yet, but that'll give you a look at where we left off this morning. And of course, we'll give you an update on that. Please remember, discipline is the key to success. It's easy to make money in the market. It's hard to keep it. And your account's telling you the truth. If you're not growing, then, discipline has a lot to do with it. Has more to do with it than the strategy. And most people don't like to admit that, but that's true. Money's easy to make in the markets. Keeping is the problem. Hope you find this helpful. I'll see you in the trading room. Have a great night, everyone.